Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our show brought to you by the law offices of Ogle, Elrod, and Brill. They can help you with workers' comp cases, criminal defense cases, bankruptcy cases, family law cases, personal injury cases. You see their website right there on the screen. When you are in a legal jam, make your first call to the law offices of Ogle, Elrod, and Brill. All right, back for our final segment with Bob Hodge, Mike Stoll, Mike Strange, and down there, the man who's going to handle the Cavaleris line, Chuck Cavaleris himself. Chuck, what are you doing on this one? Where's you setting the line?
Well, I'm going right along with the Vegas line on this, which has stayed pretty firm at 3.5, and I think they're pretty much on the mark. I think it's a very even matchup. I really do. I think the window of opportunity for this game would be to take Iowa and the 3.5 points.
Okay. All right. I look at that and I wonder how much of that line that the Vegas line set, they play off people's perception. I mean, they're trying to bring in equal amounts of money. I wonder if Tennessee played in the ACC, if that number would still be plus 3.5. I wonder how much of that is people just put their money on the SEC and the guys in Vegas know it. All right, he says UT by 3.5. He's sticking with the Vegas line. Do you think UT covers that?
I think UT covers it. I think it'll be close. I think they cover it.
Mike Stoll?
You look at two very good defenses, so there's not a lot of points. I don't know if they can. It's going to be maybe a 17, 20-point total score on both teams. 3.5 is a lot of points to cover by in that short margin.
So you say no?
No.
Okay. Mike Strange?
I'm going to go no, too. I just think it's going to be so close. And I'll go back to the last time I saw these two teams play in 1987, field goal at the end of the game, won it. I'm going to pick Tennessee with all these VFLs in the room here. I'm definitely going to pick Tennessee, but yeah. It's going to be really close.
And John, one of your key things is turnovers. I think this is really going to be a game where the quarterback that plays the best and the team that has the fewest turnovers, that's the team that's going to win this game.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Chuck. I don't think they cover, but I do think Tennessee wins. I think they'll win a very, very tight game, but I think 3.5 is large. I just see this being a last-second kind of thing. Right now, I want to tell everybody what we've got. A couple of things coming up next week. We will have our normal cast back in here to break down the Tax Slayer Bowl, and that means Shazan. That means Shazan Bradley, David Ligon, Will Overstreet, Sterling Hinton, Bobby Scott. The whole Hee-Haw gang will be right here next Sunday for our post-bowl breakdown. Also, don't forget, tonight at 11:35 right here on Channel 6, you can watch 6 Sports Sunday. You see it right there, powered by the Sports Source, because our own Will Overstreet and Sterling Hinton will be joining Mr. Michael Spencer. And speaking of Michael Spencer, this week on WATE, you can tune into their coverage, which starts tomorrow from Jacksonville on 6 News. Tomorrow afternoon, they'll start with their live reports from Jacksonville. And then the Tennessee Tailgate Tax Slayer Bowl preview will be 7:30 on New Year's Eve. You don't want to miss that. They're also going to take a look back at the Gator Bowl from 20 years ago when Peyton Manning actually won it in Gainesville.
The Swamp.
That's right. It was played at the Swamp that year. They beat Virginia Tech. And Peyton Manning, really, you could argue that was his big breakout game in terms of the national focus on him, and they have a big blowout win. You started to feel like, wow, this freshman could do something special. That was 20 years ago. And then also I want to remind you, follow us. I think we've got there we go. Follow me on Twitter right there at SportsSource TV. Later this afternoon, I will tell you when we've got this show and our overtime segment loaded up at SportsSource.tv. That's our website. And today, Mike, you're going to be demonstrating a couple of things. We're getting your old teammate, J.J. Surlis, to stick around. It's going to be offense versus defense. Yeah. You're going to do a little demonstration of what you think Tennessee's offensive linemen need to work on?
Well, and where they've been susceptible, and you saw Missouri get a lot of sacks. You saw Joshua Dobbs struggle a little bit. It's because of the twist game. I'm going to break down what an offensive lineman needs to do when they run a twist game on you.
Excellent, excellent. And folks, you can catch that later today on SportsSource.tv. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll tell you when it is live. Thanks to all of these guys. Thanks to all those former Vols that joined us earlier, in addition to Mike Stoll. That was Dewey Warren, Fuadra Chris Wampler, Daniel Hood, J.J. Surlis, on and on and on. Thanks to all of them. Have a happy and safe New Year. See you next Sunday.
The views expressed in this forum do not necessarily reflect those of WATE 6 or of 6 Sports. This has been a paid program.